Have you ever had someone next to you who seems friendly in words, but on an instinctive level, you feel that something just doesn't add up? Have you ever felt a subtle discomfort, an intuition that suggests something dark is hidden behind that smile? Carl Jung, one of the greatest scholars of the human mind, spoke of a fundamental concept, the shadow. The shadow is that hidden part of us that we deny, but which often manifests itself in the way we treat others. When someone feels hate, envy, or resentment, they tend to hide it, but never completely. The signs are there. They are subtle, but unmistakable. Today, I will reveal 8 unmistakable signs that indicate if someone close to you harbors hostile feelings, even if they do everything they can to hide them. Be careful, because sign number 8 is the most insidious of all, and it could turn the way you see certain people upside down. Before we begin, be sure to subscribe to the Mental Dose channel and the Telegram channel so you don't miss the next videos on personal and spiritual growth. And now let's begin. Sarcasm and contempt. Disguised as irony. Hidden hostility doesn't always manifest itself openly. Some people prefer to express it with sarcastic jokes, barbs, or biting irony. They make fun of things they know are sensitive to you, but when you point it out, they respond with phrases like, "I was only joking," or "Don't be so touchy." You don't know how to play the game. This behavior is particularly subtle because it leaves you feeling uncomfortable, while the other person maintains the facade of someone joking without malice. In reality, repeated irony about certain topics is a clear sign of hidden contempt. If their jokes always leave you with a sense of humiliation or belittling, especially if they're repeated over time, it may not be humor at all, but a sign of repressed hostility. Jung argued that our personal shadow is projected onto others in subtle and sometimes involuntary ways. When someone repeatedly uses irony to attack certain aspects of your personality, they are revealing a part of themselves that they cannot accept. Subtle sabotage. If someone close to you feels threatened by your success or growth, they may try to sabotage you in subtle ways. Sabotage isn't always obvious and direct. Sometimes it manifests as misleading advice, miscommunications, or small mistakes that, when combined, hinder you from achieving your goals. A friend or family member who forgets to tell you important information, leaves out key details, or inadvertently complicates things for you may not be as absent-minded as they seem. If these incidents are repeated and consistently occur, at crucial moments, it's time to ask yourself whether they are truly coincidental. Observing the consistency of these behaviors helps determine whether there is an unconscious desire to sabotage you. Jung explained that when a person lacks the courage to face their own failures, they may unconsciously project their frustration onto others, hindering them in order to avoid feeling inferior. Silent competition. Some people can't accept that you are successful at something without feeling the need to outdo you. Every victory you win is followed by their attempt to shift the focus onto themselves or downplay your accomplishment. If you share good news, instead of congratulating you, they respond with something about themselves. If you tell them about your success, they're quick to say they've achieved something similar or even better. This unspoken competition often arises from deep insecurities. Those who practice it cannot tolerate seeing you shine because it calls their own self-esteem into question. If every conversation with this person becomes a competition, it is likely that there is unexpressed resentment behind it. Jung argued that shadow projection leads people to see in others the qualities they are unable to develop in themselves. For this reason, those who feel inferior will try to belittle you or compete with you to avoid facing their own feelings of inadequacy. Their apparent kindness. Those who secretly dislike you may mask it with superficial support. When you need help, they minimize your problem or make excuses for not being there. When you achieve success, their enthusiasm feels forced or completely absent. This attitude is especially evident during key moments in your life. If someone close to you is always unavailable at important times or reacts indifferently to your achievements, they may not have genuinely positive feelings for you. The lack of true support is not always easy to recognize, but it becomes evident over time by observing their reactions to your successes or difficulties. Jung spoke of ego dissociation as a mechanism that causes some people to become emotionally disconnected from others. This can translate into coldness and an inability to truly support those around them. Control disguised as caring. Some people try to dominate your life under the guise of doing it for your own good. They tell you what to do, criticize your choices, and cast doubt on your ability to make decisions. Their intent is not to support you, but to make you dependent on them. This form of control can be hard to recognize because it is often disguised as loving advice or apparent concern. A key indicator is how they make you feel. If after each piece of advice you feel more insecure rather than more confident, you may be dealing with manipulation. Jung argued that the need to control others stems from a deep fear of internal chaos. People who cannot manage their own uncertainty try to govern the lives of others so they do not have to face their own emotional instability. Criticism and gossip. People who harbor negative feelings toward you rarely express them directly. Instead, they spread criticism and distorted information about you to others. This behavior is particularly insidious because it affects you indirectly, often without you realizing it until you face the consequences. If you notice changes in the way others treat you without a clear explanation, if friends or colleagues start avoiding you or acting colder, it's possible that someone has been spreading negative information about you. False or exaggerated rumors are powerful tools in the hands of those who hold grudges, because they undermine your reputation and gradually isolate your public image. Jung explained that the need to discredit others is often an unconscious attempt to project one's own insecurities and frailties onto them. People who feel inferior or dissatisfied try to balance their feelings of inadequacy by casting others in a bad light. In other words, those who speak badly of you are often revealing more about themselves than about you. Resentment toward your success. People who truly care about you are happy when you reach a milestone. They support you in difficult times, but they also celebrate your victories because they see your success as something positive. On the other hand, those who hold grudges against you struggle to hide their annoyance. You can recognize them by their cold reactions, sudden changes of subject, or attempts to downplay your accomplishments. If you share an achievement and they respond with a detached, "Oh, that's great," or immediately shift the focus onto themselves, they may be experiencing envy or poorly managed competition. Jung explained that the inability to rejoice in the success of others reveals an unresolved internal conflict. Your success becomes a reminder of their shortcomings. This happens because seeing you achieve your goals highlights what they themselves have not achieved. They may try to minimize your victories with phrases such as, "It's not that important," or "I did something similar a while ago." These words are not just opinions, but signs of latent impatience. If someone has a hard time celebrating your victories and shows annoyance instead of happiness, it's likely that they feel something very different from what they show. Hidden details and nonverbal language. The final and most insidious sign lies in hidden details. Hostility is often revealed not through words, but through involuntary attitudes and signals. A glance at the wrong moment, a forced smile, a sudden change of expression, or a tense silence can speak louder than words. Many people try to mask their feelings, but the body always betrays the deepest emotions. If someone pretends to appreciate you while secretly feeling hostility, you will notice it in subtle gestures. Their hands stiffen when you talk about a success, their tone of voice shifts when they pay you a compliment, or they avoid eye contact. At crucial moments, Jung argued that the body and the unconscious never lie. Even when someone tries to hide their feelings, nonverbal language always reveals them. The conscious mind can put up a mask, but the body responds to real emotions. If you sense tension, discomfort, or coldness in someone, trust your instincts. You may be picking up on signals your conscious mind struggles to rationalize. Recognizing these signals requires attention and sensitivity. Words can be deceptive, but body language and small details always reveal the truth. Thank you for following us on this journey. See you in the next video.